You guys know how we start this whole shebang. Roll call.
Kaya.
Ryan.
Mikey.
Kyle.
And Steven! Well then, welcome back everybody to episode 44 of our Mole Master campaign. As we return to the Elemental Evils, the Odd Jobs, episode 44, Eye of the Tempest, part 3. And hey, Fredbot, you want to get it together? You're really fucking up my opening sequence. Okay. You know what? I'm upset enough about it to tell you to stop. Redo it. Thank you, Fredboat. Fredboat. Appreciate that. When we last left our favorite adventuring party from Mole Master, we had almost gotten eaten by spiders in a symbiotic relationship with some will-o-wisps, and then threw in a dash of elemental evil methods just for flavor. The party had been lured into a trap by the will-o-wisp to be consumed by these giant snow spiders, their official name, when a figure approached from the raging windstorm, bright blue eyes, a towering 12-foot tall body, holding a strange kind of jug in one hand. Jove, with a very good perception check, recognized this individual to be bearing the mark of the Emerald Enclave, and called out, with a good insight check, called out for Marika, the representative of the Emerald Enclave for the Glacier of the White Worm. And he was correct, as Marika used some urine and other bodily fluids of Remoraz's, poured it in front of the encroaching giant snow spiders, and drove them off for the moment, allowing the party to regroup. However, during this point, Aquila was the only member of the party to drive forward and try to attempt to take down Marika, who revealed herself to be a frost giant, perfectly acclimated to living out here in the Glacier of the White Worm. Jove was forced to call back Aquila as her anger from her past lives overtook her upon seeing a giant in the flesh for the first time in this new lease on life she has received. The rest of the party gathered themselves and followed Marika into her abode. There, they spent the night, regaining some of their strength, resting in the most comfortable place they've rested since the Fire by the Threshold Inn, and learned of many tales of the Glacier of the White Worm. Tales of its origin, learning of the storm brewing towards the monastery of the Yellow Rose and the disappearance of Yavendale, and hearing such horror stories of the numerous Remorazes that call the Glacier of the White Worm home, the packs of Yetis, the wandering frost giants, and of course the boogeyman of the glacier itself, Mival, with one blue eye and one yellow eye, who is said to ask challenges and force those he encounters on the glacier to participate in challenges of heart, bravery, and mercy. The party rested for the evening, looking over Marika's maps, learning about the anatomy of the Remorazes, and other interesting bits of knowledge. The party rested for the evening and made their way out in the early morning, Marika turning into a Remoraz, a young Remoraz, and trailing her way out towards Frost Giant territory, hopefully to cause enough commotion to buy the party time and cover to get to the Monastery of the Yellow Rose, lest those predators in the Glacier of the White Worm come to find them. As the party made their way through the ever-increasing snowstorm, moving closer and closer to the Monastery of the Yellow Rose, they unexpectedly ran into a family of polar bears. While Joe tried to use some of his newfound ranger magic to communicate with the young cub, the cub was startled none the least to see this strange, bearded, mostly halfling creature begin talking to it in polar bear and quickly called for its parents. A short but brutal battle ensued with Jove, I believe, you killing one of the polar bear cubs. And then I forget who got the finishing blow on the mama bear and the other polar bear cub. Party, would you jump in and help me out here to fill the details?
believe Rory killed the mom.
Indeed, with a devastating blow to the head. And I had that whole thing about polar bear skulls and their density. And then, Jove, did you kill both polar bear cubs?
I'm trying to think. I definitely killed one, but
You definitely killed one, and then the second one came up on you and did the double nat 20s and dealt you a devastating blow.
yes, because I got the first one as it was running away because I pierced it through the back of the leg. Yeah, so I did kill both of them.
Yes, so Jove having killed 2 polar bear cubs, Rornak killing the mother bear. We now return to our party. When we last left them, you guys had come together in your kind of defensive line with, I believe in order, it's Jove, Rornak, Jasper, and then directly behind Jove, I believe, is Freddy. Is that correct?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
That sounds correct. I know I am definitely at Jove's side.
Yes,
'cause
I know
remember
that.
you there.
I actually think Jasper's on the right, Rornak's on the left, Jove is in the middle, and right behind Jove is Freddy. You guys are creating kind of this line with Freddy in the back. As Jove, I believe you were still in full fight mode. I know Jove, Rornak, and Jasper, you all have your actions held currently to attack whatever comes out of this snowstorm. Jove, on our last session, you had rolled just high enough to hear the large, powerful roaring of whatever is the father of these creatures out in kind of the snowstorm. The wind in the storm picks up, carrying and obscuring your vision, making seeing anything out past 30 feet nearly impossible. During this time, ranged attacks out to 30 feet will be made. After 30 feet, it's at disadvantage as the snowstorm and the sight becomes obscured. The wind blows heavily, and only you, Jove, are aware of the large roaring sounds, while the rest of you are holding up Jove on the sides, preparing yourselves. I believe Freddy gave a little bit of that minty greens to Jove after that devastating polar bear attack. As the storm whips around you, you can hear the howling of the wind. We'll start at the top of initiative. Jove, it is you.
Jove is going to is he able to get a bead on a direction of the kind of howling that he heard, or are we kind of just between the wind and the canyon walls and stuff? It really could be from anywhere.
I'll let you roll a perception check. Are you trying to hear?
Yes, this time I'm trying to hear.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me perception.
That's just going to be my passive for 17.
Passive for 17. You begin listening out towards the storm, and with a 17, you are prepared looking forward. And with a 17, let me make a contested roll on this one. Yes, you can hear from to your left, coming in at an angle, you can just ever so faintly hear the sounds of something large and heavy barreling towards you. Just the pattern of the feet hitting, dun 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 dun, as all 4 feet kind of hits in this, what sounds almost like a gallop. It is the only thing that has any sort of consistency in this howling wind. While the rest is winds and howling and sporadic, you do hear just ever so faintly off toward your left, dum 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 dum, gaining momentum and growing closer.
Jove will go ahead and turn his body that direction if he wasn't already facing that. He's going to have that javelin still in the ready position. He will go ahead and hold an action to throw his javelin once it's within range, so 30 feet. And then he'll say to the party, as loud as he can over the winter storm noises and say, "Look, there's the Papa's still out here, and he's coming this way." And he'll kind of use his javelin to point that direction to try and get everybody's attention going that way. And if because I'm having a hard time like visualizing it, if Freddy is in the path of this thing, Jove will position himself so he is on in front of Freddy to try and like get that line going so we're not broadsided by this thing.
Okie dokie, Jove. You move, so such a movement to your left. If we were looking on this as a grid, with the polar bear coming from the left, the west, and you guys were in kind of that, like, really short T, with, like, the three of you in a line and Freddy in the back, you move, south and then to the west and put yourself, so it's like Jove and Rornak, yeah, stacked, and then Freddy, and then diagonally to the right, Jasper, closest to Freddy in that direction. So you'd move from like that center and get like a sidewall. So it's like on Rornak, Jove, move to the right, Freddy, move to the right, Jasper, 5 feet ahead. Does that make sense?
Beautiful. And I'm pretty sure this works, but I just want to make sure, because if I use my bonus action to concentrate on Zephyr Strike, that'll still pop off even on a held action, right? Because oh no, it says I have to give the advantage on my turn, so it wouldn't be on my turn.
Yes, you would still have it and could concentrate on it, but it wouldn't give you the advantage. I also, if I remember correctly, I believe you are still concentrating on Hunter's Mark. So you would have to break concentration on Hunter's Mark.
I did that to, I was using my favored foe, and then I used a second level Searing Smite on that other one, so I already broke my concentration on that first favored foe. So then, in that case, he will leave his bonus action unsullied, and will be there prepared to throw a javelin as soon as he sees a valid target.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm a valid target.
An enemy.
Oh.
Yes, because there's plenty of valid targets. You could stab any one of your party members straight in the neck right now. Easy, no sweat. Some of them might be a little more difficult than others, but Freddy, for sure, you could stab that dude easy. Easy. However, Jove, you turn that way, and the and breaching through the snow, all of you see the largest polar bear you have ever seen. On 2 legs, you think this thing could probably stand eye to eye with Marika. This is large, bordering on huge. You can see it's massive. Its whole body, wider than you, Joe, by at least 2 of you, maybe even 3. Powerful muscles, tons of long-heeled scars rip across its fur. Where it goes, the fur is no longer white, but this kind of gray, matted color. And its eyes, this kind of just 2 dark black holes staring out as it barrels towards you. I believe Rornak and Jove, and I think Jasper, you were prepared with your sword, correct? Jasper.
Sorry, I was muted. I have my axe and my shield out right now. Actually.
Your shadow axe and your shield? Got you. Yeah. It is out of your range at this time being, but Jove and Rornak go ahead as it breaches into this kind of 30 feet range, and you see this massive bear. Jove, speak with animals of concentration, so you don't hear anything at this point.
Yeah.
So it just lets out this, it shakes the very chest of yours. You can feel the base of this roar shake your very lungs, even in the howling of this wind. Only 30 feet away, it lets out this terrifying roar, and all of you guys feel it shake your lungs. Go ahead, and we're going to do it this way. Since you guys were holding your reaction, go ahead and make your attacks first.
Okay.
Rolled a 24.
24 will hit.
Not nat 20.
Not nat 20. Those were both hits.
Alright,
I got
AC is
10
less
piercing.
than 20.
I'm sorry, what was that, Jove?
Oh, sorry. I got piercing. 10 piercing.
10 piercing. Gotcha.
And that's 6 magical slashing for Rornak.
Gotcha. Okay. The Papa Bear uses its full movement and at full speed is going to open up with you, Jove, since you smell like the blood of its kin, with a bite attack. That is a 24.
That certainly hits.
You take... As it bites down, you see it drives this huge teeth into Jove. Jove, you take 10 points of piercing, and you are currently grappled. As it picks Jove up and brings both claws together. Jove, you're taking 2 more while grappled.
Okay.
That is a 12 plus 9. 22.
That'll hit.
And this next one is a 24 again.
Both will hit.
All right. Oh, buddy. 30. You take 27 points of slashing damage.
Woo-wee!
Oh.
And you see Jove ragdoll and fall unconscious in the hands of this bear.
As you watch this bear rush into view, Jove and Rornak doing strikes against it, but it shrugs them off, adding to the patchwork of scars across its body. You see its entire head go around Jove, and then 2 claws bring it up, and it stands at its full height. Clearly 12, 13 feet tall, towering above you all, and there's a large... as you see Jove's body goes limp in its grasp. That's going to be its turn. And then move on to Rornak.
Alrighty then. Well, seeing that is not great. So, remind me then. So, is Jove still being held by him, or is he?
Oh yeah,
Just so-
absolutely.
Okay.
Jove is very much in the grasp of this bear right now.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Well, Rornak is going to make another attack here. So you got 2 attacks coming your way. That's a 19 for the first one,
That'll hit.
and an 18.
Both will hit.
Okay. Roll the damage. Nice. So that's altogether 20 magical slashing with the 2.
Gotcha.
And then I will burn the key point for Flurry of Blows, and one of those will be Hand of Healing, as he tries to almost he's gonna make 2 strikes to almost try and strike on the actual hand or paw of the bear while trying to heal and close the wounds on Jove as best as he can. So it's 2 big slashes, almost puts the sword into the bear, and then is going with the unarmed strikes to try and pry him out.
Go for it. Let's give me the unarmed strike, and then send your healing to Jove on the second one.
All right. Almost the nat 20. But that will hit with the 27.
But yeah, that'll certainly hit.
And then I will roll. So let me roll damage on that one real quick, and then I'll roll your healing. And that is for 8 bludgeoning. And then, Jove, you are healed. I literally always roll minimum on the healing. Crazy stuff. So that's going to be for 3 HP. So you're conscious. Not a whole lot with you, but you're conscious again.
Jove, you come back to consciousness, and when consciousness reaches you, for a brief moment, you feel warm and embraced, and you no longer feel that cold, and then the pain sits in. As the top half of you is still grasped in the mouth of this bear, while your bottom half still hangs from its mouth. So on the inside, you're warm and bloodied and wet, and on the outside, you're dry and cold and freezing.
Oh, I hate that.
Awful. Awful.
I always forget that you have that, Rornak, and that is such a fucking dope use of a key point, so thank you.
Of course, of course.
All right.
Have to keep the boys alive where I can.
Rornak dropping 28 points of damage in a single turn. Gotcha.
Monk things. Yep.
Monk things and healing the party member with a single for some key points. All right, I gotcha. Anything for your movement, Rornak?
Oh no, he is all focused right there. So yeah, he stays put.
Gotcha. Moving down from Rornak is Jasper.
Jasper's gonna try to scoot around to the side of the bear and try to get flanking with Rory.
You have 40 feet of movement. Yes, you can pull that off.
Okay. She'd be willing to do a cunning action dash if she had to. But either way. Let's make these axe attacks. That's a regular 20.
That'll hit.
Yeah, okay. Cool. That's 14 magical slashing.
Gotcha. 14.
Yeah, and that'll be her turn.
Absolutely. You go around and slice into the back of this creature, and it's just the pure amount of muscle on this as you're like driving the axe through. You get a clean cut against it, and on a normal foe it'd have been devastating, but this bear is just so fucking huge.
Yeah.
That it doesn't even seem to wince at your slash on its back leg.
Oof.
Freddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna do a second level sleep.
Go for it. Start rolling your sleeps.
Yeah. I believe that's 78. Yeah.
Let's see it.
It is. Holy butts. 41.
41. You see the head of this bear begin to droop before snapping back up and begins shaking its head. You see Joe's body move from side to side, ragdolling for a second as it shakes the sleep off.
Well done. Okay. I'm gonna give a Johnny over to Joe.
You watch as Johnny runs up the second half of Jove, slips in between the teeth of this, and Jove, you're in this mouth. It's really dark, but there you see a small spectral Johnny that gives you some finger guns, nods at you.
My turn. Want me to stay back?
Gotcha. Let's move. Jove, you are currently still grappled. You may use your action to try to end this grapple.
And he will do just that. And Johnny immediately, as soon as he gets up in that mouth, he positions himself between the teeth to help him out with this athletics contest. And for this, Freddy, this is I roll like 2 d8s and take the higher, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Advantage
so
on the party inspiration die.
huzzah! All right, let's do some athletics, donkeys.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll your athletics. This one's actually, it's not an opposed one, since this is the monster ability. It's just a DC. You have to beat a DC for it. It's not opposed.
Does a 24 do it?
A 24 does indeed do it. You are able to get yourself, you put your arms back, your powerful shoulders, and get your hands kind of on the front of this bear's teeth and push yourself back.
Johnny was doing his work too, because he rolled me a 6. He wasn't skipping on leg day for this. So
no, not at all. Is there a secondary effect if Johnny is used? Do I need to make that Constitution saving throw, or
It's only attacks.
it's only attacks? Okay, gotcha. Just wanted to double check. Yes, and you see Johnny, gets on kind of the front of your forehead and pushes as well, and you see like his whole form kind of condenses backwards like a spring, and then shoots forward and pushes you the extra way out before dissipating. And you see Jove push himself out of the mouth of this bear and lands onto the snow. Jove, you are no longer grappled.
He will then yeah, he's gonna go ahead and then use his bonus action to pop open one of his healing potions, and he's gonna go ahead and take that. So
Go for
since
it.
I'm using bonus action, I'll roll it out. For 14 in healing.
Nice. Gotcha. You slam down your healing potion. Nearly get
That was a
all of
greater
it.
healing,
Just
right?
It's like watching somebody do that water bottle trick where they inhale the whole water bottle at once. Actually, you see Jove just slam this, throats the whole bitch, and lets with a solid tink the glass drop onto the snow. 14 points, not bad.
Don't clip that and take that out of context.
Please, somebody clip it.
Chat,
And then he's
clip
gonna
that.
have
Jove
he's gonna
throating.
have his. Please, I mean, he does it. You've seen him do it with ale many a times. But
Ale,
he'll-
dwarven whiskey, How do you think he gets them pipe monsters that right size? He's got so much throat space to really mold that together.
Jove the throat goat will go ahead and put up his shield and will end his turn there. If he's not in front of Freddy, he will make sure that he's in front of his battle buddy.
Gotcha. So, moving on down, it is then the bear's turn. Now, it would go after you, Jove. However, 2 new people added into this whole thing, and I very much did not like that. So, Rornak, you're receiving the bite this time. Oh, mama! That's an at 20. Rornak, as you land from the ground and Jove slips from the mouth, you turn around to look at Jove and see how he's doing before it all goes dark, hot, and wet. As you receive 14 plus, where's my date? Oh, could have been better. You receive 16 points of piercing damage and are currently grappled.
Ho, ho, ho.
As its body whips around and turns to face you, Jasper, and you see Rornak's body, just like Jove's, although way more of his body. For Jove, since he's so short, it was like more than half. For Rornak, it's like his shoulders and his head and his arms are all in the mouth of this creature. As it turns to look at you, dark black pools where eyes should be. Or at least that's how it feels in this moment, as the largest bear you've ever seen turns to you. It's going to make 2 claw attacks against you. First one. That's 28.
Yeah,
Nope.
that'll hit.
Not against you, Rornak. Against Jasper.
okay. Oh, okay.
28 will hit.
The second one is a dirty 20.
Yeah, that'll hit as well.
Oh, God, no. Where do you think you're going, D6? You roll in the box. Motherfucker. It's double ones. Okay, so the first one, the first slash does 8 points of slashing. The second one, that's not any better. Does. And then there's the extras. 6, 8, 14, plus another 9. As the second claw digs into you, you feel your body almost held in place by the first claw as it drives the second one down, and you take 21 points of slashing damage.
Fuck. Okay.
And then it continues to turn its body back to you, Jove. And you can see Rornek's feet almost touch the top of your head as it turns back down to you. That's going to be Papa Bear's turn. Rornek.
Yes, I would like to try and break free of this grapple.
Go ahead and make an athletics check.
Dirty 20 for me.
That'll do.
Whew. Yeah, that did not feel great.
You push yourself out, unpale yourself from the teeth, get kind of your feet and your hands on the snout of this, and push your whole body back as much as you can. Like, get your feet and all legs push off. You feel a bit of scraping, but your body is dislodged from the mouth, and you land next to Jove.
Yeah. With that, then, Rornek will grab back hold of Earzarn, and he will burn another key point for a bonus action to use patient defense as he takes a defensive stance, hoping to not get caught in a bear's mouth again.
Gotcha. Jasper.
Fuck. I think she's gonna use a second wind as her bonus action to get some health back after that last slam, the jam. So we're gonna roll that. Great. It's really bad. I get 6 health.
Okay. You take a breather after that one. Just
Yeah.
the air is really cold here.
Yeah, a bunch of broken ribs made that breath feel really refreshing.
Lung punctures.
Yeah.
As you're breathing, you're like, ooh, this time I didn't collapse a lung. That's not bad. Painful, but you still got both lungs working. And somebody who has had a puncture lung, let me tell you, it fucking sucks.
Yeah. She'll position herself for flanking. With the
Oh,
bullies.
you don't even have to move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we'll make the rolls. Please be better than that, or the exact same roll. So it's a 15 to hit.
15 does not hit.
Fucking Jesus.
It's somewhere
Alright.
between 15 and 20.
Well, that's all she's got.
It's all she wrote. Fredward.
Well, actually, after how that last turn went, I think she's gonna utilize a mobile and get like 5 feet back from this thing because she doesn't want to die. Weirdly.
Yeah, if you jump back and doesn't gonna take a reaction, take an opportunity attack against you, so you move out of range just fine.
Oh wait. No, but my team needs flanking. She moves back into position.
You like jump back, look over at your team. Ah, fuck. Jump back into it.
Yeah. Just gotta.
Say that was part of your
Yeah.
second wind. You
Yeah.
took your breath
You
and
like-
you went back.
You like made the slash, stepped back, took a breath, and then stepped back into it.
Exactly. So that's all.
Gotcha. This music choice is great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Googly YouTube, for putting this on there. Audience, if you want to know what plays this, I have it clearly shown to you right now. I don't know what more you want from me. There's the composer. There's the song title. If you want it, you got it. Anyways, back to the top with Joe. Nope. No. It's Fredward's turn.
All right. To the tune of the first 4 syllables of Mothka's Sober.
Oh,
Whistle. I've seen you here before.
take your plus
Alright,
one.
that's-
Take your plus one.
That's what I was fishing for. That'll be 12 points of force.
12 points of force with a magic missile. You got it. That certainly finds its target. Dum, dum, dum. It drives in, and you see one of the magic missiles hit the kind of the teeth of this, and there's a breaking sound as it busts through some of this polar bear's teeth, and it actually begins to bleed. Some red begins to mat into its fur. You can see kind of the steam rising off the blood as it drips down to the ground. For the first time in this fight, it does look like it's hurt.
All right, and then Johnny goes over to Rory.
Gotcha. Okay. Then it is Yov.
Yes. And we're probably set up with flanking right now, right?
You are indeed.
Okay, so he'll go ahead and use his bonus action to do a second level searing smite, and then do 2 Electrum Spear attacks. First one is going to be a 16.
A 16?
Yes.
Just hits.
Woohoo! We are looking at nice. So we are looking at 8 piercing, 11 fire, for a total of 19.
Total of 19. Yeah. I believe the bear's on fire now.
Indeed it is.
Or it would be if it was in the middle of a snowstorm.
It's magic, though. And then he'll go and do a second attack with the spear.
Gotcha.
Ooh, that's a nat fucking 20, yo.
That'll hit.
All right, but unfortunately, I don't have everything set up. It is going to be a modest one. Still get the extra d6 from Piercer. Nice. We're looking at... That's for a cool 25.
For a cool 25. No, that actually hurts. 94. 14. Yeah, these two attacks with the burning and the tear, you just drive your spear into the neck of this creature, getting 2 perfect holes on each side into the jugular. You see giant bits of blood starting to pour out from it. The breathing becomes ragged. The strength begins to start to drain from this creature. It is incredibly hurt. It's not quite dead yet, but very hurt. Very spicy, if you will.
And with that, I think I've used everything that I can for this turn. So Jove will go ahead and stand strong.
You got it. It is then the bear's turn. Joe, what is the fire damage on this?
He has to make a con save first.
Oh, a con save. Would you believe he's really good at these?
I would believe.
Yeah, that's a 26.
Yeah, so he's easily able to just pat out the little bit of fire that was there. If not, the snow itself did it.
Between its large body and the fact that we're in an active snowstorm and an already snow-covered bear, while the initial fire damage is effective, the fur and the size of this creature just can't seem to light in the middle of this snowstorm. Plus, it's really hardy, unsurprisingly. Boy, Jove, would you believe it really didn't like any of that? So, the bite is coming for Jove. Ooh, that is a 17.
Ooh, yeah. See, he sees it coming and he puts up his shield to kind of force that mouth open and keep it from the jaw from being able to cinch down on him.
You got it. Not to be deterred, it's going to try to get one claw at you. That's a 19 this time.
That'll hit.
All right, let's do damage first. That's going to be 12 points of slashing.
Ouchie, but he is still on his feet.
And then if one person has to die, it's got to be you. Here comes the second. That's a natural 20. Jove, you're down.
Yeah. I think that's fair to say. I have 5 HP.
Yeah. Since it's a natural 20, that is max 2d6 plus 6. And since you've taken 2 claw attacks, that's an extra 4d6. Maxed. Jove, what's your maximum hit points actually right now?
55.
We're going to roll just to double check. Because if this rolls high, Jove, this creature could potentially kill you right now outright.
Murderer.
Nope. Its opening roll was minimum damage. Can't do it. Can't hit it. So, yes, you watch as Jove is able to get his shield up to stop his entire noggin from being crunched on again. But while his both arms are up trying to hold this creature's mouth open, it simply swipes twice. And you see one claw slash forward. The second one cuts in deep. And you see Jove go spiraling out to the side. Boom, 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 boom. Like watching an anime character get slapped into a wall. Boom, 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 boom. You see Jove get flung to the side with a natural 20. Jove, I'll say that you get pushed 10 feet away. Out into the snow with this. As you see Joe's unconscious body. As then it turns on to you, Rornak. Speaking of which, Rornak.
Sorry, missed I was muted. Alrighty then. 2 attacks coming straight his way, because we're in critical mode here right now.
You have a Johnny.
I know. I will roll with the Johnny as well. Well, do I get Johnny for 1 attack or both attacks? Since
One
I
attack.
have...
It's just a bardic inspiration die.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that counted for both if you have extra attacks, so thanks for clarifying.
Yeah.
Okay, so first one with Johnny
An important question.
is a crit fail.
You have flanking.
Oh, thank the Lord. We will roll one more time. Ooh. Okay, that's a 23 then instead.
That'll
Thank
hit.
Jeez, you are unruly dice. Almost a crit fail again, but that will fail, or that will not hit.
Gotcha. Go ahead and roll the damage for the first strike. And did you use your Johnny on that strike or no?
I did use the Johnny for the attack, yes.
Now, I need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Yes.
Okay.
Which I'm assuming the bear is good at.
The bear is very good at Constitution. That is going to be a 17.
Yeah, that passes.
Gotcha. Rornak,
Okay.
how much damage did you do on this first strike?
That is 8 magical slashing on that first strike.
Okay.
And then we're doing a bit of a rerun here. We'll burn the last key point for the flurry of blows, and one will be used for Hand of Healing to try and keep poor Jove up as long as he can.
Go ahead and make your first strike against the bear, because Jove has been knocked 10 feet away, so they need to move out of range to go put hands on him, unless this has range.
I was going to say, actually, I don't know if that would work, because because then I would have to at least, even if he allowed it, I'd have to move out of his way.
Oh, you certainly could try to strike and then move out of the way to go get Jove, but I am going to get the attack of opportunity on you.
You still have me that can get to him too.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's not gonna work out because I'm pretty low as it is. So, hang in there for a second, Jove. We will change that then from the key point to the normal follow-up bonus attack, not the key point spent.
Let's see it.
Okay, and that will hit for a 22.
That will hit.
go. Nice. That's another 9 bludgeoning on top of that.
How do you want to do this?
Oh, oh goodness. Oh man, it's like seeing where it's like being singed, and like with the Johnny, he comes forward with the ears on, and that first strike, uh, it's just like it's just coming down and trying to tear through it as much as he can, and it's almost coming again where like he's trying to get towards the skull, but like you mentioned the last time, this time it's just a little too hard. So with that second attack, he's just not able to really purchase it, and so with the Johnny, I imagine it's just like making a big fist and like almost with like a bit of like an aura around him as Johnny is like gripping onto his arm. It's just striking in those singed spots, and trying to just make as much purchase in the body as possible. And there's almost like an explosion of the Johnny's aura as he just like repeatedly hits onto the bear.
The rest of you watch as Rornak drives his fists into this polar bear, and the whole size of it, you watch as it dies on its feet, and it takes Rornak striking it over and over and over again, and it just seems almost as if its body locks into place, and it just moves itself down a little further into the snow with each strike. While Rornak is beating this now dead polar bear, Jove, I would ask you to make a death saving throw, but technically it's Jasper and Freddy first. Let's finish out this initiative. So Jasper, while you watch Rornak just deliver blow after blow after blow to this now just still and beginning to freeze polar bear, what do you do?
Jove's down, right?
Indeed. You're able to see Jove's body get, like, Naruto punching Sasuke at the end of Shippuden, like, flung to the side.
She has no healing potions, but she's gonna run over there and pull out the medicine kit that she has.
Absolutely. You may use a use of it to stabilize.
Yeah.
Jove, you're stabilized. Freddy, what do you do with your turn? I assume, Jasper, that's going to be your movement and action.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Freddy, what do you do?
I'm going to send out my actual familiar Johnny to run over to him, and I cast Cure Wounds through him.
Jasper, you see a spectral Johnny run over, and as you are stabilizing Jove, he runs over, gives you a set of finger guns, and gives some minty greens, I assume, over to Jove. How much does Jove receive?
Mama birds Jove the minty greens for a minimum of 4 healing.
Yay!
Jove, come back to consciousness. We are out of initiative. Rornak, you are still driving your fist down on this creature's skull, and it's this strange one where its body is just rigid and not moving, and each blow you can feel the skull shattering, but it will not drop. While the rest of you go over to Jove, and Jove, you return back to consciousness. We are out of initiative.
Yeah, you see Jove just lying on his back as kind of the consciousness comes back to his eyes. He groans and moans for a second and just kind of reaches out a hand for somebody to help him up.
Jasper will do that.
He'll clasp that and get himself up and try and shake off some of the snow that is on him and the kind of the wet, slick blood, anything that might like make him cold, colder than he already is. And kind of look around. Does Jove have a good beat on what time of day it is right now?
Roll me survival.
That is going to be just a flat 10, Cap.
The storm has picked up. It is still visible, but darker than you started. You would guess that you've probably moved at least 8 hours through this storm. So you're starting to think it's starting to hit like late afternoon, getting closer to evening. You're likely going to want to start finding camp soon.
He'll kind of, as he's brushing himself off and looking up to the sky and everything, he'll look at the group and say, Jasper, Freddy, thanks for that. I think we're going to need to find a way to get out of this cold here soon. What's left of the sun is probably going to be going beneath the skyline here, and it's going to get even colder. I don't even think if we walked through the night we would make it to the monastery at this point. So maybe we should spend the last little bit of daylight that we have left looking for a lean-to or something that can at least keep the wind off us. And he just looks fucking ragged at this point. I mean, he's been inside the mouths of 2 bears. Gross.
Father and son. 2 Team and Jove.
I swear to God, if we die out here in the cold, I am gonna haunt your fucking gaffer.
Well, he actually might have a little something back in the oddity shop for that, so be careful about who you hunt. And even through that, there's that little bit of levity that he has, and he kind of tries to give you a wink with some snow-covered eyelashes.
So what, you're saying we camp here right now? Or
Well, I think we should at least try and find some favorable geography. That way we don't run into any other bears, something like that. We might have to dig out some snow and make ourselves a little igloo or something like that. We're definitely going to have to pitch up some tents or something. It's going to be hard work getting ourselves a halfway comfortable place to spend the night here. And sounds like what Marika was saying, that fires attract those will-o-wisps, so it looks like we're going to have to go a cold night.
I think Jasper is speechless right now.
Rornak would make his way back here, just completely bloodied hands after beating down on that bear.
You can see Rornak is actually steaming with the blood of this creature. Its body, whilst now clearly dead, still has the heat of its life. So Rornak, your hands feel real warm right now.
Lord, that SOB will not go down, but good catch on that one, Joe. How are you, well, can you stand, or?
Yeah, I got a little bit left in me. Ornek, you don't know. We're not close enough to the monastery for you to recognize any geography out here. Trying to decide if we should just dig ourselves a little ice cave, or we'll try and, I don't know, walk somewhere and see if there's at least some trees or something that we can cut the wind with.
Can I roll to see if Rornak might remember any lay of the land, perhaps even on his way back, or on his way to Mulemaster that he might have used?
You may roll insight or survival. Your choice.
He will roll insight for this.
Okie dokie.
It's a great fail.
Looking around, Rornak, you feel that kind of anxiety creep in as it was not this bad when you first made your way down to Mulemaster. It was still like the end of summer, so the glacier was far friendlier. Even worse is the snow compounding on it. You rack your brain, and there is one place that is warm that you could potentially make a shelter out of if you dug underneath it, as your eyes go back to the large steaming corpse of that giant bear.
Well, I'll tell you now, this is far worse than how I had it on my way out here. Unfortunately, Jasper, you may not like this one, but we do have one way we could stay warm for the night. It involves a certain bear we just fought.
The rest of you all look, eyes turned towards this bear, which has been driven about a foot deeper into the snow with Rornak's attacks. Stiff, still standing, but a sizable amount of room underneath its body, and what blood is still slightly dripping off before it begins to start to freeze, is steaming.
Oh, we find its den and hang out there.
Oh, that makes sense. I was trying to figure out what he was saying.
I mean, do you think you could find that den in this storm now?
Well, then what the fuck are you talking about? Huh?
It's a gamble. I'm just saying. It's a desperate time right now. This is what we got.
Everybody,
Ronak has himself a point. Maybe we can pile up some of these bodies and at least have that break the wind around us, and we can dig deep and, well, maybe not so deep, but we're gonna have to be real close. Share some of that body heat to make it through the night. It's gonna be gross, but
Jove, you might even have to be inside the bear a bit.
we'll take those things as we come.
Inside
But
the bear.
I was already inside 2 bears today, so I'd like to avoid that if I can. But we're surviving here, and Freddy, if it wasn't snowing sideways, I would take your suggestion and try and track those bears back to wherever they came from. But I don't think that's likely to happen here now. So, and I don't know about you, but I'm hardly hanging on here. So, so we got to make do with what we can.
I agree. And right now, those bears are as much as is going to be given to us in the next day. At least that's my bet.
Come on, Jasper, help me pile up these bodies. And Jove is gonna go and try and find one of the baby bears and start bringing it back towards the big bear.
even in the snow of this one, luckily the red of their blooded corpses stand out starkly. So it's very easy for you to find the 2 cubs and the mama bear, not far off from where the massive body of Papa Bear still stands.
And is there like a prevailing wind that is just like going in one direction the whole way? Is it like originating from the monastery and blowing down the glacier, or is it just like whipping around every which way?
At this point in your journey, you're not close enough to the monastery to know. It just feels like it whips in total chaos. 1 minute to the left, to the right, as it twists around and flurries up and down your bodies. Jasper, do you assist Jove in moving the polar bear bodies?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Jove, go ahead and roll me athletics with advantage since Jasper's helping you.
'That is 24.
24. Yeah, you're able to pull the polar bear bodies closer to Papa Bear and You set kind of the mom on one side, like on the longest part of the bear body, and then the two cubs at kind of the front and the back, and create kind of like a shelter underneath the body of this bear. Holy shit, this is macabre. So two polar bear cubs' bodies at the front and the back, and then the mom blocking the other half, so that there is probably a good 5 feet or so underneath the body of the papa bear that is blocked off from the sides.
And he would use some tools to kind of like dig into the glacier a little bit to try and get like below the the body line, I guess. And kind of like how you were explaining, like kind of he wants to create like essentially a lean-to, but using bear bodies with it, so get kind of surrounded by the warmer corpses, and then if he can figure out a way to put part of like the top of the tent like across the top, or even just erect the tent inside so they're kind of insulated with that. I mean, Joe would know how to do this better than I would as Kyle, but
Yeah, go
that's
ahead.
kind of what he was trying to do.
Oh, God, this would be a survival. Well, it's a straight survival trying to create a lean-to out of dead bear bodies. Would anybody like to assist Jove on this?
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll survival with it.
Go ahead.
No, you first.
No, I was gonna do something else.
Okay, Jove, go ahead and roll survival with advantage to use this family of bears to create a lean-to for you guys to survive out in this middle of this glacier.
Thank you for the advantage. That's a 15.
A 15? Yeah, I'll say a 15. You use the cub's bodies to kind of shore up the sides, and use ice to pack around to kind of get the sides and the back of this one. The tent is a harder one, considering how much wind is here. But with the 15 and Jasper's help, you're able to kind of pull it forward and create kind of this lean-to underneath the body of this bear.
Yeah, more for just trying to capture whatever heat is coming off of us than like anything else. It's more just trying to kind of saran wrap ourselves in.
On the topic of saran wrap, I'm gonna use my Song of Creation to create the biggest, thickest quilt I can.
Yeah. Jove, I'll say with your 15. The heat's no good for you trapped inside this bear's body. It needs to be released. Because you can see the steam coming off from the wounds, but underneath, yeah, it's a way for the, but it's not the heat that you're looking for. You, as a survivor and as a ranger, know that there's only one way to get the heat here. Freddy, you do create the warmest, thickest quilt you could possibly can. As Jove, you're able to.
Unfortunately, it only lasts for 2 hours though, so it's gonna be while we're setting all this up.
Yeah, absolutely. With the quilt and everything in there, it is definitely guarded from the elements, but not particularly warm. As you use kind of the tent to cover up the one side that doesn't have bear bodies in it, and use some snow to pack the other sides around, and there's kind of a 5-foot gap underneath and you dig in a little bit, and it gets it closer to like 6, almost 7 feet. You put the tent, you kind of hang it off the sides of the bear's body, pierce into it for some holding, you feel little bits of steam and heat come out from it. Jove, you feel like you're been given a choice whether or not you want to open this bear body up from underneath and bring its warmth down, or just to take your lean-to as is. Choice is yours. But I'll say with your 15 in survival. It's set up, not particularly warm, but is shielded from the elements. Freddy's quilt definitely helps.
Yeah, he's going to kind of look at Jasper and say, yeah, Jasper, you might want to back up a touch. And he's going to look over at Rornak and say, Rornak, can I have a hand with this? And he's going to, Han Solo on Hoth style. He'll break out his...
Plus one, I've been waiting for it. Plus one, I've been waiting for it. There it is. Take your plus one.
I knew this is where it was going.
I could have gotten a +1 just saying Hoth.
Like Hoth.
I thought it was that. I thought it was that thing we were all thinking, but weren't saying for reason.
I was waiting for it. It is the first one to finally make the Hoth reference. I've been biting my tongue, be like, yeah, let's slice into this this fucking polar bear and get warm.
Oh yeah, as soon as you gave me my insight roll, I was like, yep, it's gotta be this. It's gotta be Hoth.
You know I'm too much of a Star Wars fan for not this to be an option, surviving the middle of a glacier.
It makes sense though. I mean, it made sense in Star Wars.
Makes sense now.
He's gonna try and like with the snow make a little like I don't know like bowl in this little ditch that they are in. So like when he guts it, like all of that like hot innards is gonna kind of like fall into one space and kind of radiate out more like almost like a really gross macabre fireplace. So it's not just like we are sitting in dead fluids as much as possible.
Okie dokie. Yeah. You drive your hunting knife in, and with Warnack's assistance, go ahead and give me a survival check with advantage.
So Dead Fluids is my new metal band name.
Ooh, that's a good metal band name.
I crit failed, but you know, halfling luck. Gotta love it. Oh, a crit failed to a nat 20.
How?
Love it.
Freddy goes to put the quilt
Yep.
down, and you put a hand out and stop Freddy as you get that through, and you cut just big enough to where you see this kind of deluge of still warm blood begin to follow through, and it pours into the whole of this, and you feel the heat rise, and it kind of melts the snow that you've packed on the sides, and then it begins to refreeze and insulates. And while the outside temperature is freezing, inside here, it might be like a nice solid like 40 degrees. As Jove, you successfully tauntaun bleed this bad boy, and the bulk of the innards and blood fall down. You have done this successfully in that 20 to not cause all the innards to just collapse and cover your space, and you've got that there. And Freddy, I'll say with the Jove's nat 20, while you're using your Song of Creation, you create like a perfect hole in the middle of the quilt, so when you put it down, it doesn't go onto the hole of hot blood. You set it down there, and I'll say with the nat 20 and your 15 in insight, you have successfully created a shelter out of dead bear corpses.
Ranger shit right there.
As you all kind of crawl and get underneath this and get onto the quilts, which is thick and warmed up by the blood. There's kind of that center, a little bit of steam coming up from it. You pull the kind of tarp down. It's dark in here, but the warmest place you've been since Marquez. You have successfully created your shelter. The evening is yours, party.
Take the first shift.
All right, I've got Freddy on first watch. What do you guys eat for your food right now?
Jove is just going for a jerky ration.
Yeah, if we can't have a fire, it's just rations, I guess.
Ronak will, bite into his tried and true berries, nuts, and frozen bread at this point ration.
Frozen berries, frozen nuts, frozen bread. Like
Yeah,
little
really big
ice cubes.
feast. This is a lot for him, but, lost a lot of energy.
It's a really weird cereal. Frozen berries, frozen nuts, and frozen bread.
This trail mix is fucking garbage.
hey dog, this trail mix is trash.
Hey, buddy. Hey, Rornak, your trail mix could use some work. Not a single fucking M&M in this bitch.
No M&Ms, no raisins.
No M&Ms, no raisin, just nuts, frozen berries, and you put bread in your trail mix? The fuck is wrong with you?
It's a fruitcake.
It's not that like good crunchy brown
I
brown
need
bread bit.
carbs.
It's just like croutons but unseasoned.
Oh
Ugh.
my sweet God, Rornak, why do you have the worst helmets ever? Okie dokie.
It's not a pleasure food, you know.
I will say, party, as you are winding down, eating your rations, Freddy, before you go out on your first watch, could have everybody make me a Constitution saving throw, with Freddy and Jasper, I believe, rolling with advantage. After spending an entire day traveling along the glacier, the White Worm, and everyone minus Freddy taking some pretty heavy hits.
Ooh, that's a 4.
1 level of exhaustion.
Yeah, I got a 7.
1 level of exhaustion.
Before my advantage, it was a 5, but after my advantage, it was a 19.
Success.
Con saving throw?
With advantage.
23.
The lap, I don't know why I keep saying lap twins. The lap siblings are just fine. With the shelter and the river water. You guys, while tired and colder than you like to be, are fine. Jove and Rornak, with the traveling of the day, the fight, the not using the river water, the cold, you take 1 level of exhaustion. As you begin to bed down for a night on the glacier. You can see on the outside of the corpses, the ice begins to frost over, the steam dissipates, the temperature begins dropping. You become very thankful for this lean-to, as traveling the glacier at night is almost a surefire way for frostbite and death, even with your winter clothes. I will say, you guys have the better part of an hour before Freddy goes out for his watch. If there's any sort of RP or things you would like to talk or do in this moment, now would be the time. I'll take the
Well, Joe.
Oh, okay. Go for it. No, you're fine. You're fine.
No. Well, Joe, sure isn't pretty work, but it's damn good work. Well done on all of this.
Well, I definitely can't make this journey wearing my bathrobe like you, but I got a couple of tricks up my sleeve.
You know, this is actually more than I wore the first time, but also kind of needed. It was not nearly this snowy the last time either.
Hey, so Rornak, we should be getting to this whole monastery tomorrow. I know that there's probably something nefarious at play, but I mean, I don't know too much about the order themselves. Are you, are there other folk like you that live up there? Was there a fighting chance against these cultists, or more just holy men just living an ascetic life away from civilization?
Well, if you're looking for another Gitzerai there, you're certainly not going to find one. But if you mean are there those who could actually stand up, there is a section of them that I do believe could actually that could do that. My group that I was a part of, the Order of the Rose, is usually in charge with, well, a lot of them call it battle poetry. It's where I learned a lot of the tricks that I did here. Got a few tricks, of course, that I learned from my time in Limbo, but yeah, there's definitely people there that we could speak to that could do something against the cult.
Rornak had
Don't
plus
get me
1
wrong.
for using battle poetry correctly.
Thank you.
Good lore. You get plus 1 for good lore and staying in character.
Of course, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. I will say that is just 1/3 of the group, though. The other 2/3 are, well, Order of the Chisel and the Order of the Scroll. Not a whole lot of battle prowess there. That's working more with really arts and knowledge and collections of the sort. They'd have a lot of good info that we could probably use, but if we were actually looking for someone to help in a battle, the rose is the way to go.
Freddy, even with your passive perception, your ears do pick up on the order of the scribe and the library, or the order of the scroll and the library and the scrolls that the monastery possesses. Could you have me roll a history check? Or could I have you roll a history check for me?
Does this have to do with Mole Master?
I'll give you advantage on this one. Yeah.
Okay. Good, because that was a 1. Oh, nice. That was a 2 for 6.
For 6, we'll say this is the first time you've heard of the monasteries having a whole section for a library and scrolls and knowledge. You're not sure what information is contained, but your interest is piqued at the idea of a whole collection of knowledge and scrolls from all across kind of the Moonsea region that could potentially be a monastery. So go ahead and have that.
Rornak, I know I don't have to tell you
Forget
this.
that I ain't no nerd.
Yes, well,
Just,
if you're in... Oh, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
was just gonna say that I know that you what you're made of. Seen you test your metal many times, but I know I don't have to tell you that you should be prepared for the worst as we get up there. I'm not sure what we're going to be seeing once we get to the monastery. Yavendel is a powerful individual, and if there's something up there that caused her to go incognito for this long, let's just say I hope your companions in the Order of the Rose have kept your people safe.
I certainly hope so as well. And right back at you, I must say, I hope you are prepared for the monastery as well. It is not quite what I think people would expect. It is, well, honestly, it is expansive, massive, truly. It's almost a small city up there. So, I have faith that the Rose would be able to protect itself or at least hold out for some time. Well, I'm sure we'll see the state pretty soon once we get in there.
Do you have a leader of your order, just in case, I don't know, if we got separated or anything like that once we're in the mix?
Well, I mean, there are multiple people in heads of position. I mean, if you're looking for the actual Grand Master of Flower, that would be Grandfather Periwinkle, but I mean, there's multiple leaders of sorts for each of the orders as well. For the Rose, I mean, you could try Lady Tace or Father Blath. That would be your best case if you're looking for defense. Otherwise, for the Chisel and Scroll, probably be Mother Rose and Den, and I'd say Mother Elethra. Those would be some names to keep in mind.
Well, I don't plan on getting separated from you and your home, Rornak, but
I'm telling you, it's much bigger than you think. It's quite the order to itself.
well, us odd jobs seem to be getting ourselves into interesting situations, so just trying to prepare for the worst, like sleeping under the remains of a dead bear.
Well, I can tell you there's at least better barracks here than this. Not the comfiest sleep you'll ever have, but, you know, they're a bit more over the meaning of it than necessarily the luxury, as I'm sure you guess.
Barracks. You're a funny guy, Rornak. You're a funny guy.
You're an odd one yourself, Jove, but certainly a good one to have around, especially right now. Also, I don't imagine that bear counted as your hunt, right?
Oh, don't even think about it, Rornak. I got a good one. I just gotta sleep on it, and I'll figure something out here soon.
We'll call the bear a little bit of insurance that I get next time around then. How about that?
Whatever makes you feel better, friend.
That makes me feel a little better.
And you see Jove, I mean, he's just been completely fucked today. I mean, he's exhausted quite literally, has multiple bite wounds on his fucking dome, and you see him cuddle up in as best as he can in his winter coat, and I'd say that it's not too long before he's sawing logs and snoring. He's definitely not taking first watch tonight.
Joe begins to settle down to sleep, leaving just Jasper, Rornak, and Freddy for the evening. You guys finish your rations. Over here, Rornak and Jove's conversation. Anything else before, Freddy, you begin the first watch?
No.
Solid. Jasper, anything from you?
She's just gonna bundle up and go to sleep like she always does.
Rornak will take watch then.
You would be second watch.
Sounds good.
All right. Who's taking third watch?
If Joe gets his 8 by that point, right? So if he's got that full rest in, then he'll take the first watch.
Would be the third watch.
Or that's what I meant, third watch.
Gotcha. All right, Freddy. As you see your party members begin bedding down and going to sleep, and you feel that last bit of magic go as the quilt dissipates from your College of Creation, you get out from underneath the tarp and look into the complete darkness that is the glacier at night, with no natural lights, the storm blowing. It is like looking into... It'd be like being in a fish tank and looking out into a dark room with no light behind you, just absolute darkness as the wind howls around you. Could I have you roll me a perception check with disadvantage?
I think we know where this is going.
Maybe.
Oh, the first one's a nat 20. And the second one is a 3. So
It's a
a
3.
total of a passive of 12.
Passive of 12. You look out and it's just 2 hours of just staring out into straight darkness. You hear odd bits of noises, whistling, roaring at some points, but you're not sure if that's just the wind howling by. You feel something like brush up against like your back for a second. You whip around to see what it is, and it's just a bit of the tarp that has blown forward with the gust of wind. It's kind of caressed the back of your leg. You feel your heart rate spike for a second and calm down, and after a little while, you feel the ice kind of forming around your face. And if you had any facial hair, you'd know it might be in danger. But as far as I'm aware of, Freddy, you don't rock any facial hair. Unless... Correct me if I'm wrong. No facial hair on Freddy?
No, I don't.
Okay, my headcanon didn't have any facial hair either, so cool. But, Freddy, you finish your watch and head back down in, and I believe, Rornak, you aroused for second watch.
That is correct.
Go ahead and roll me perception with disadvantage.
Yep, that's the passive 12.
Passive 12. It grows darker and colder as you kind of take a little bit of...
Actually, if it's disadvantage, our passives are reduced by 5. So we both had passive 7.
Sevens.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
7. Rornak, you look out into the darkness. And for a moment it feels like the wind stops. The howling no longer screams in your ears, and everything goes quiet for just a moment. You look out into the darkness, and you see one blue eye, one yellow eye, They blink slowly. They seem to grow larger, as if coming close for seconds. Before the storm kicks up again in a gust of wind, almost nearly knocks you over. And as you kind of brace yourself for as it digs into kind of the hole that you've made your shelter, you look back out and once again the solid black veil of darkness meets you. Make me a wisdom saving throw.
It's a 21.
A 21. You steel yourself for the moment. Breathe in deeply. Exhale. And the fear leads you. The end of your shift, the end of your watch arrives, and you go to wake Jove.
And as he's waking Jove, he'll say, Jove, just so you know, I think out there I saw something with blue and yellow eyes. Didn't Marika talk about someone like that was out there on the glacier?
Yeah, like Naval or something like that. Thought that she was gonna be trying to pull him away, but thanks. I'll keep my eyes peeled and my mind sharp.
If you see or hear anything suspicious, just wake us up immediately. Don't think twice about it.
Well, you'll hear me loud and clear.
All right. I need to try and get some rest.
Jove, go ahead and roll me a perception with disadvantage.
Right. It negates my normal advantage. It's regular. That is going to be for a 18.
An 18. You look out into the darkness, searching for these blue and yellow eyes, the eyes of Maval. As your shift comes to a close, you can see just a little bit of gray light beginning to peek through the clouds. It goes from a window of straight blackness to a heavy gray. You begin to be able to see farther and farther, and looking out towards the distance where you're situated at, you turn your head and you can briefly see probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12, 18, about 24 miles away or so, maybe closer to 30, you're not entirely sure, at this distance, briefly see a mountain rising above kind of the cloud break. And for just a second, you can see what appears to be some structure near the top of it. This kind of almost halo around it before the wind kicks up and obscures your vision once more.
It's going to take good mental note of that kind of cardinal direction.
But it is not the brief view of the mountains in which you hope is the monastery. Instead, you look out, and in the graying kind of morning, with an 18, you see, sneaking its way ever closer, a set of bright blue eyes, moving closer and closer. And with your 18, you can see it is a large humanoid-like figure. It kind of sniffs the air, looking for something.
Yeah, Jove will kind of pop back down, and with the butt end of his spear, he's going to start trying to like poke people awake. And as he kind of is catching people's attention, he'll put his fingers to his lip, to shush them.
Rornak and Jove, as morning greets you, I need you both to make me a Constitution saving throw, just a regular one.
Oh, nice. 23 there, Ken.
23, gotcha.
17.
You both have recovered successfully from a night sleeping in the glacier. Remove your 1 level of exhaustion.
Phew.
Luckily, you had an actual camp to be in underneath this dead bear. Had you just tried to rough it out in your tents on the glacier, that would have stuck. But with the bear, you're able to, able to rouse yourselves up enough. I will say, real quick, we're going to take a meta pause right now. As Jove is waking the party up, I would like everybody, because that is... Everybody go ahead and add 800 experience points from yesterday's fights, with the bears, the spiders, the will-o-wisp. Everybody go ahead and add 800 individually. And I forgot to add it. Kaya, you know that this is coming. Everybody go ahead and add 10 downtime days. I forgot to give it to you guys at the end of Mayhem in the Esper Mountains. Where do you guys' current XP at, for my knowledge?
I've got mine at 11,968.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm at 11,966 myself.
I'm just below that.
Yeah, me too.
We're looking for 1,400. Get you guys to level 6.
14,000.
That. Correct. Sorry. 14,000. And level 7 is 23,000. Level 8 is 34, then 48, 64, and so on and so forth. Most excellent. So, the rest of you are roused by Jove. What do you all do as Jove wakes you and puts a finger to his lips, shushing you all as he brings you all to consciousness?
Rornak kind of take the memo and he'll try to slowly grab his gear and ears on without trying to ruffle much. And I think also he'll take out the jug of river water and just slowly uncork it, take a drink, and pass it over to everybody.
Yeah, Jasper will take it and drink it.
Same.
How many charges do we have left?
This,
These are the last 4 we got right now. So there's 1 left if 3 of us drank it.
Might as well.
Gotcha, you all.
Do I have 10 minutes? I guess I would whisper to Jove.
You said that this thing was like Marika sized.
Yes.
I guess he's gonna kind of like pop back up and see if he can get a bead on the closeness of his quarry.
Are you trying to be sneaky about this?
I'd say so, yeah.
Roll me a stealth check, then roll me a perception check with disadvantage.
Okay, stealth. We're looking at 23.
23.
then-
Okay. Okay.
Perception. We're looking at that is gonna be 12.
You crawl out from underneath the tarp and begin looking for whatever creature this is. And while you feel confident that you were stealthy out of there, your search turns up nothing.
Gotcha. Jove was I guess the route that Jove would know this more than I would. The route that they took, does he feel like they swung pretty wide from Ice Giant territory?
Roll me an insight check as Jove.
Oh, that's very good. That's gonna be a 22.
Yeah. With your eyes on the mountain, I mean that's probably a straight shot there. You feel pretty confident you've stayed towards the center of the glacier, away from the mountains to the east. So you feel pretty confident while you're not out of Remoraz territory, and won't be till you get to the Monastery of the Yellow Rose. That you are aware of. However, you feel like pretty clear from Ice Giant territory.
Jove will pop back down and say to Freddy, "Could have swore I saw something that kind of looked like an ice giant. It was pretty much as big as Marka, but I seemed to lost it in the wind. It had a nose in the air sniffing, and come to think of it, we are kind of in a nice corpse pile here.
Smelly
So
environment, as some say.
yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if some things are going to be coming around, picking off the meat off this bones of these bears here sooner rather than later. So if you can do your 10 minutes quick.
Do it in about 10 minutes.
Aren't Mole Master minutes quicker or what? Because, well, whatever it
unless
is.
it's some kind of weird time dilation, I don't think so.
Hey, you're the magic man here, okay? So, you just do your stuff, and I'll keep my eyes. But after you do that, we probably should be moving on from here. Don't want to waste any good daylight, anyways.
Okay.
Freddy, what are you doing?
If we want to, we can move while I do this. I just wanted to get my magic eyes up to kind of do a quick lookout for any threats. But if we want to get moving now, we can. It's just I won't have it up for another 10 minutes.
Party, let me ask you. Do you give Freddy the 10 minutes to cast his Detect Magic, or do you start moving out?
Cast regardless, but one way has getting it 10 minutes out. One of them has us starting our adventure with magic eyes.
You know what? I do need to pack up some of this gear. I don't want to leave it out here, so I'll be quick about it if you are. As long as that's right with everybody else.
Fine, just do it.
Jasper says, still in the sleeping position.
Yeah, she's still wrapped up.
I say allow Freddy to do that. In the meantime, I would give the rest of you a very important lecture on the Remoraz around here, in case we have to deal with that. And during the 10 minutes, he would share the info that he found on Marka's scrolls, because he had not actually spoken about that with the party earlier.
Absolutely. Party, Ronak relays to you some interesting facts about the Remorazes, such as their immunity to cold and heat, the sheer heat that comes off of their bodies that is dangerous to non-Remorazes, and their hierarchy of Remoraz hatchling to young Remoraz to full-sized Remoraz, with full-sized Remorazes being as large, if not larger, than most giants. Something that even the frost giants do not want to fight at full size. So, go ahead and add that one down, that Remorazes are immune to both fire and cold damage, and that their bodies produce enough heat to damage you upon striking. as Jove begins to break down the camp, and Freddy, you are putting on your eyes. Now we're going to use this as passives. The better part of 10 minutes goes by. Freddy, your spell, you finally complete casting it as Rornak finishes his little lecture. Jasper, you have all of your stuff, but you're still bundled up, is what I'm going to be assuming is what you're doing. Yeah,
Yes.
gotcha. Freddy, your eyes turn on and you begin looking, and nothing. Nothing pings, no necromantic energy, no evocation, abjuration, nothing. However, Joe, as you begin to work on bringing down the actual kind of tent that you've used to create your second side, you feel it's less of a feeling, it's more of you hear a and you feel the corpse of Papa Bear begin to shift forward and move to the side. You hear tearing and the rest of you also hear this as the body of the bear kind of lurches forward, and you hear the sounds of chewing and kind of this large, heavy. What would you like to do? Actually, as this is going on, let's take a quick 5-minute break for bathrooms, refresh bevies, and we will return. And let's shoot for before 7:40. Give everybody a quick break as this interaction is happening. See you in a second, chat. I'm going to leave the audio on. I have returned.
Here.
Excellent.
Here.
What's up, gamers?
Gamers. Jove, take your +1 for that low drawing there.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome. If you're gonna take the extra time to make that and post that, then yes, I'll give you your +1. However, I'm never changing the nickname ever again.
Who did it better, folks?
I am back.
Ooh, take your -1 immediately afterwards.
Oh no! Giveth and taketh away so quick.
In equal parts.
Oh, it's gonna give me an ending number of 69. How dare you?
Oh, well, whose fault is that? Excellent. I think we're just waiting for Kaya.
No, she's here.
Oh, excellent. I didn't hear her come in.
At least,
Yeah, I'm here.
no, she stayed here.
Okay. This requires a song change. Give me un momento. Let's get. I had a whole thread pulled up for this. Let's see. I think this is what I was looking for. A little too much soft piano. There it is. So, as we return back from our break, party, you have awoken, allowed Freddy to cast his magic eyes as a ritual in saving the spell slot. Rornak has informed you on the knowledge he gained from Marika and the Remorazes, their body structures and some of their anatomy and physiology. Jove alerted the party to an approaching figure as large as the frost giants with bright blue eyes, though noting that you guys are far from frost giant territory. As the party gathered their things and began to prepare for another day of trekking through the glacier, the sounds of a creature feasting on the corpse of this large polar bear that has provided you your shelter begins to come through. You could feel the weight of this large polar bear's body being pulled forward as the gnawing and the chewing sounds continue, as something continues to feast on the corpse of this bear. You can hear the of whatever this thing is, breathing heavily in between bites and gulps. Party, what would you like to do?
Do we have like that a way out the back, like Jove had been going out to peek out, or is this thing just pretty much just like right over the top of us now?
It is. The way you guys had set it up is that you used the polar bear cubs to like in the front four paws and the back four paws, and used mama bear on the back wall, the sides. Your tarp is on one of the sides of the polar bear if you're looking at it downward on its right side. Forget what the actual term is for where it would be at, but on its right side is where your tarp has been placed that you've been going in and out under. It is currently gnawing, whatever this thing is eating the head of this creature first. It doesn't appear to be aware of you guys currently. It's currently in the middle of feasting on this corpse. Would you all sit in this silence? I'll ask again. Party, what would you like to do?
Waiting for one of my more physical people to go and do something.
Yeah, I think Jasper's gonna take out her axe and shield and I don't know, try to sneak out and
Roar.
see what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, Rornak would grab Irzarn and uh, would just kind of like mime and point to himself and then point towards one of the sides of the little polar bear camp that they put together. And yeah, he would try to like kind of quietly go around that side and see if he can get a look on it with Irzarn in hand.
Are you both trying to be sneaky?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And to help them out as they do that, Jove is going to arm himself and be with Freddy in the hole, and he is actually gonna cast thaumaturgy, and he's going to manifest a minor wonder, and he is going to, I guess, just cause harmless tremors in the ground for a minute, kind of, I guess, locating more where that thing is.
Okie dokie. Rornak and Jasper roll me stealth checks, followed up by perception checks. Jove, roll me your spell cast. Roll me like a spell casting check as if it was a spell attack. So your wisdom plus your proficiency.
Gotcha. And I'm not sure how line of sight or any of this works, but if he can, he's trying to pull the attention back and away from this individual. And my spell attack is a 3.
Freddy, your eyes ping as Jove casts this, and you feel a light vibration in your feet. Less than what it feels like when a cart rolls near you. Jove, you reach in and try to pull from that place, and you feel a large amount of resistance. There's not words that return back to you, but you try to pull to make this minor wonder in. It's like someone is holding back that energy, physically stopping you, as you kind of shut out for that, and it's just a slight murmur. As that's happening, Jasper and Nornak, what are your stealth checks?
Could you tell me?
7?
So, what were the two on again? I'm sorry.
Stealth and then perception.
Gotcha. Okay, that is an 18 for stealth and a 17 on perception.
Okie dokie. And Jasper, you rolled a 7 on stealth, and what was your perception?
Catchphrase.
Catchphrase. So if I remember this correctly, Rornak, were you going, just so I can have this as Jove and Freddy are underneath the bear corpse. You guys are going to sneak out. You have, I'll call it North Cub, South Cub, East Tarp, or West Mama Bear. Where did you guys exit from your hovel or your bear cave?
I'll say Rornak went East Mama Bear.
East Mama Bear. Jasper.
What were the other options?
South Cub, North Cub, East Tarp.
She went East Tarp.
Rornak, you move past, you kind of push out some of the snow and use your Zarn to pry some of it away, opening it up, exposing that kind of area to the elements, and you sneak your body in your Zarn towards the outside, and feeling real stealthy, you kind of peek your head up and you see a massive creature. This is not like a large creature, but a huge creature. Larger than Marika. Just as big as a frost giant, if not more. It even makes this large polar bear that it is currently gnawing through the skull on. You can see that's eaten through the top part of the skull. Part of the snout is digging into kind of the brains, the eyes, whatever's left here, and just gnawing on it. You can see the teeth cut through the skull of this bear with little resistance. It is a huge white fur-covered Yeti, but massively larger compared to the ones that you've encountered. Its entire body seems to freeze the air around it. It is massive. You feel like one of its hands might be enough to cover all of you and Jove, as it is just tearing into this, and you can see it's pulling more and more flesh out. You have that moment, Rornak, where you're afraid as it kind of swallows and looks down that it might have noticed you. However, Jasper, you exit out from under this tarp, still groggy from the morning, not quite pleased at having still been out here. And as you do with the 7, there's a... as you pull part of the tarp down, as you exit out and look up to catch the eyes of this massive Yeti. I need everybody to roll for initiative.
Oh boy.
Dang it.
Another
Oh
nat
my gosh,
20.
my rolls.
Oh, how did I not have your initiative already pre-rolled? Well, luckily there's only one of you. Oh, what dice? What dice is icy? You know what? Amethyst dice usually fuck me, but let's see if you like Yetis. Interesting. And, all right. We've got... Oh, that's a 5, isn't it? Okay. Jove at 22. Warnak at 16. Freddy at 6. And Lapis. Jasper. At 5. Okie dokie. To set the stage on this one, the large bear that you guys have taken shelter underneath is 15 feet long by about 10 feet wide. Freddy and Jove, you're currently underneath the corpse of this bear. Rornak, you are exactly as I said. You are on the mama bear on the west, just outside of it. So you're probably 15 feet away from this, which I am just going to call it what it is, an abominable Yeti. And then Jasper, you are on the mirror to Rornak, but on the tarp east side, you're probably about 15 feet away from this creature. As it sees you, and it has these icy blue eyes that just pierce through. But it's not its turn yet. So, starting our initiative is Jove.
Yeah, after hearing the loud roar, Jove is gonna look over to Freddy and quickly say, "We should get out of here before that bear falls on top of us." And he is going to pop out. He is going to pop out. Let's let the dice decide. Yep. So he's gonna pop out towards Jasper's side and get out that way. I'm sure see the big fucking thing in front of him. And I'm sorry, did you say that it was 15 feet away from Rornak or Jasper?
It is 15 feet away from Rornak and Jasper, since they
And
both
Jasper.
went out on two opposite sides. They are equal distance on both sides of this bear corpse. So 5, 10 feet forward, and then if Rornak goes to the right and Jasper goes to the left, another 5 feet, there will be this abominable Yeti, as it is feasting on the skull of Papa Bear.
Then, since this thing is so big, he is gonna take a couple of paces further away from our camp to get a nice angle on this thing. He will go ahead and bonus action, cast a first level Zephyr Strike. Use that to give himself advantage on this first Javelin Strike. So close to greatness. That is 25.
That's 25 will hit.
Gonna do. What's that? D8. Go ahead and re-roll my piercing. There we go. So that is going to be for 5 force and 10 piercing for a total of 15.
5 force, 10 piercing, you got it.
And then just like as soon as he lets go of that first javelin, it's just impressive the just like the muscle memory as he just a few seconds later looses a second javelin. That is going to be for 21.
21 will hit.
And then I'm going to use my class feature, that favored foe, upon hit to add the D4. Nice for max damage. That is for 15 piercing.
30 altogether. Gotcha. As you land 2 javelins into this creature who it pierces, both pierce in, and you can see their solid foot or so into this creature as its icy gaze turns to you.
Ooh, and now that I think about it, since I have the extra movement off of the Zephyr Strike, he is going to kind of continue in a counterclockwise motion to essentially he's trying to draw the ire and attention of this thing away as best he can from Freddy coming out of the campsite, so he doesn't get like totally crushed by Yeti foot or whatever. So he'll do that.
Gotcha. With your full 50 movement speed with Zephyr Strike, how 55. How you have so much movement here? Where exactly do you want to end up?
I want to end up essentially like, obviously no further than 30 feet away from my compatriots so I can still see them. But I guess trying to draw them. So if it's like 15 feet away from where Jasper and I are initially, Jove will kind of go diagonally away from it to try and like triangulate it so it is probably can't do a perfect like weird triangle between Jasper, Rornak, and myself, but that's kind of what he's aiming to do, to kind of get it in the center of the
Okay,
three of
like
us.
an obtuse angle triangle
Yes,
where you and Rornak have the largest distance in between each other.
precisely.
Gotcha. So you kind of get up, run clockwise towards, we'll say 15 to get there. So 15, and then you go 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could get, with your movement speed, you could get about 10 feet behind it, give or take, and really make it a triangle of like you 10 feet behind it. You can look to your left and see Jasper, look to your right and see Rornak.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So long as I can see everybody, and we've drawn his attention away from the camp, then I think that's what Jove is trying to do.
You got it. You get back and get into kind of this triangle formation. All of you, like, 15 feet away from this abominable Yeti. Jasper, if we're taking the Yeti's perspective, Jasper to the left, Rornak to the right, although he hasn't seen Rornak. And then Jove, that he is aware, has circled around towards the back.
And Jasper, as you see him go through the snow, you notice that it's like he's almost like gliding on top of the snow. He's hardly indenting it as he is going through off of the winds of the Zephyr Strike.
Neat. Rornak.
All right, seeing knowing Jasper's off on the other side and seeing Jove make the attack and take that point there, Rornak is gonna rush on in from his side. with Earzone in hand. We're going to go for the strike. So 16 on the first.
Okay.
And a 19.
What was the first one? 15?
16.
16. Yep, both will hit.
All right. Nice. Yeah, that's going to be for 24 magical slashing altogether.
Sure.
As he just kind of waits for the right moment and then, just kind of blindside strikes this thing while its attention is still on Jove, trying to just tear through with Irzarn and do as much damage as possible. And and he'll go. We'll do the. Actually, we'll burn the key point for the flurry of blows. That's a hit with a 22, and I think that'll miss. That's a 10.
Yes, one hit, one fail.
Cool. It's another 9 bludgeoning on top of that as
9
well.
bludgeoning. You got it.
Yes, he comes in with 2 strong serrated cuts and gives it a good kick as he yanks the sword back out.
All right. It is now the Yeti's turn. Well, it is going to look back towards you, Jove, and you see those cold, icy eyes link up with yours, and you feel a rush of cold as if the very veins in your body are beginning to freeze. Make me a Constitution saving throw.
All right.
Does he get the advantage for drinking the river water, or does that not count towards this?
Ooh. You would get the advantage.
Is this like, I don't remember if it's like a one-time advantage thing or if it's advantage all day.
It is a one-time advantage. However, since you're being the Constitution, this is based off cold. I would say this will use up your advantage.
Can I not use it on this one, or is it just kind of got to use it now or not?
You know what? I'll let you not use advantage on this one. Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead and make that Constitution saving throw.
Probably regret that, but hey, actually, maybe not. That's for a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. You'll save, but you're going to still take half the damage. And you are not paralyzed.
Oh,
As Jove, you take 11 points of cold damage. But you are able to resist the paralyzation. Then, Rornak, you're taking 2 swipes.
yep.
Oh boy, this thing hits hard. First one, nat 20. Second, oh my god! I'm so sorry, my friend. That's back-to-backs on the player helper and player killer dice.
Oh my god. Yikes.
I am so sorry, my friend. 'Cause
Hey,
you're about
no,
to take
it's...
12,
Well, Ronak's
24,
more than likely down here, but
24,
let's see bolt
31.
damage.
Gosh, buddy. That is 7, 14, 24, 38, 1, 45, 5 plus. You take 69 points of slashing cold damage.
69, you said?
69.
That was so close to a straight up kill. Literally points of...
As you see Jove, it looks
have
eyes
s-
to
If it
you.
was 72, I would have just straight up died. It was that
Oh,
close.
my friends.
Oh my goodness.
As this abominable Yeti grabs Rornak in both hands, and there is a large as it lets go, and you see Rornak's body just slump to the ground as its eyes are still fixated on you, Jove. It's this awful as it looks over at you and you resist the petrifying gaze. It just grabs your party member, and drops him, and turns all the way around to look at you. That's going to be the Yeti's turn. It is now Freddy.
That's fun. Well, that changes my turn, doesn't it?
It would if you could see
Yeah,
any of this.
That's true. Well, I mean, I step out and I see a Rory on the ground where he's not typically known to like to be.
That is
I'm
true.
known to be knocked out. That's actually false. but
Actually, I'm not sure. All he needs is a little bit of throw up, and he's exactly where he should be.
Okay, he's on the ground and not vomiting.
Ooh, that's a danger sign right away. On the ground, not vomiting, danger zone.
So I'm gonna send a Johnny out, a actual familiar Johnny, and then cast Cure Wounds through it. And he Mama Bird feeds you some minty greens for 8 points of healing.
Exactly as Freddy describes. You and Johnny Baby Bird greet Minty Green straight into Rornak's open mouth. Rornak, consciousness comes back to you. Your body is... You know when you hurt yourself when it's cold, like you bump your hand against something, and you're just like, God, fucking A. It's like that, but your whole body.
Yeah.
1 second you
Rornak
were
just
slicing into this
wheezes.
creature, and then next it was nothing but hands, darkness, and cold. As this creature's hands are large enough to cover most of Rornak's body.
And then I send a Magic Johnny over to Jove.
Indeed.
Thank you.
It's my turn. I kind of just like stayed huddled next to the bear, just kind of like poking my head out and casting and come back in.
Yeah, Freddy, you see this, see exactly what it is that made that noise, and that ain't it, Chief.
That's what I have party members for.
Indeed. All right, it's Freddy. Are you staying, are you like dipping back underneath the bear as this thing turns around? It has its back towards you, so like turn around, see
Yeah.
Rornak, pick him up, and then get back hiding behind the bear leg.
I duck behind it to get whatever cover that gives me, but I technically can't hide because that would be an action.
Yes. So yes, you get behind the cover of the front leg of this of Papa Bear, and have Johnny pick up Rornak as this gigantic, this huge Yeti is currently facing Jove. Well done, Jasper.
She's gonna get between the Yeti and Jove, and she's gonna take a swing with her battle axe. That is a regular 20 to hit.
A regular 20 will definitely hit.
Is Rory within 5 feet of the enemy?
Yeah.
Dope. Um, 10 magical slashing.
10 magical slashing, gotcha.
And then she's actually going to use her bonus action to action surge and dodge.
Gotcha. Okie dokie. You run in and slash into this Yeti, cutting into one of its thighs before you prepare yourself for the swings to come. As we go back to the top with Jove.
Ooh. I think Jove is gonna close the distance, bring out his spear. Maintaining eye contact with this thing. As he gets closer, he's going to use a bonus action to do a second level Searing Smite.
he's going to get, you know, within range of the creature, close to, so long as he's on the side that I guess is the opposite of where his front facing. So he'll go directly to the front of the Yeti and do a little bit of a spear poke. Nice. So that is going to be a 26.
A 26 will hit.
And then hiya. Go ahead and re-roll my piercing on that. Sometimes you roll worse. Okay, so that is going to be 8 fire, and that's going to be 4 piercing.
12, you got it. Jove, as this creature lights on fire, the intensity of the gaze immediately dissipates, as its whole focus is now on the fire that is leaping up through it as it begins to panic.
Beautiful. And like taking advantage of the panic in its eyes, he'll go for a low shot on the inner thigh with the spear for the follow-up. That's a crit fail. Roll that bad boy.
Catchphrase.
I'm gonna go ahead and use my Johnny. That's my Matt. Okay. We'll go ahead and use this Johnny. Nice. So that's going to be for 17.
17 will hit.
Sweet.
Let me make the Constitution.
Constitution's even loser.
That is a 17 Constitution.
That passes. Yeah, I feel like I'm not gonna get too many Constitution fails out here in the blizzard zone.
You're right.
Yeah, surprisingly, a lot of the things that live out here are pretty hardy.
He'll go ahead and use that second use of the favored foe.
Okay.
Add that d4. Okay, that's something. For 8 piercing.
8 piercing. Yeah. As the flames kind of leap up through the lower body, this abominable yeti clearly has an aversion to this fire. And the focus, that kind of killer instinct on you, Jove, now focuses down on the fire that is starting to spread up one of its legs.
Wonderful. That will be turn.
Rornak.
Yeah.
You see the physical version of Johnny, who is currently on your chest, it just like wipes its mouth of a little bit of like green spittle. But you are back to consciousness.
He lets out a bit of a wheeze as he uses his half his movement speed to pick himself back up. Man, that was a tough hit. He's going to use his action to actually use his last healing potion to get that all back.
Gotcha.
So you get the full 2d4 then on that.
Indeed,
right?
2d4. If you're using
Plus
a
five.
minor healing potion, it's 2d4 plus 2 for a grand total of 10.
Gotcha. All right. So he does that to get back 10 health.
Feel a little bit of warmth and feeling come back into your body.
Absolutely. And then that's the main action. Don't have a whole lot of bonus actions he can do. So he will how far away is the Yeti from where he is right now?
Oh, it hasn't moved since it's clapped you, so it's right there.
Gotcha. To be safe, he's gonna burn another key point for the patient defense in case it seems to notice him here and come back for him, and that'll be his turn.
Good use on patient defense, because this abominable yeti on its turn, freaking out over the fire, inhales and you see its chest expand and releases a torrent of cold downwards that snuffs out the fire, Jove, that you've done. However, I need Rornak, Jasper, and Jove to all roll me a a dexterity saving throw. So Rornak and Kaya, or Jasper, sorry, roll with advantage. Jove, just roll regular.
And that the throw for Searing Smite is at the beginning of its turn.
And that's Constitution.
Yes, which probably really do it, but
Yeah, that's gonna be a 24.
yeah, that'll do it. Ooh, that's a nat 20 for the text.
Success.
17.
Success. Wait. Failure.
Oh, I rolled 17 as well.
Failure.
Ow.
Let's see if the dice are in your favor.
Right back down.
Ooh, that was not good for you guys. 9, 18, 27, 35. Rornak, you take... 9, 8, 27, 35. You take 35 points of cold damage.
Back down again.
And then half of that, and since I'm the DM, we round up. That is going to be, I believe, 18 points of cold damage for Jove and Jasper.
I'm gonna go ahead and use my reaction to do absorb elements to half that again.
Half that again. All right.
So
9.
Wait. Not that I want to take that damage, but I rolled the same as Rory and not save.
Oh, that is correct. Then that is the full 35 for you, Jasper.
Great.
As it breathes down and it like pulls all of the wind and cold from the area, you feel the temperature actually rise for just a second. As the flames go out and this brunt of cold, Jove, you feel your body almost superheat for a second to stave off, and you feel a little bit of that cold pull into your body, holding on to it. That's the only move
Be
it
that
gets.
guy. Not to be that guy, but was Johnny in range of that attack?
Yes,
Then he's dead.
indeed. Johnny, Rornak, if you were still conscious and you would have seen it, well, the rest of you will see this. Rornak is back on the ground with a frozen Johnny, like on his chest, just completely frozen. Just. All right, Freddy, because that's the Yeti's full turn.
All right, here's what we're doing. Gonna do, poke my head out and just be like, "Fuck, there's no more Johnny." And he's just gonna like just start strumming his instrument, like not even putting his hand on the frets, just kind of like thinking of something to do, and it just like makes these dissonant sounds and these like jagged purple lines shoot out at it, and they're thicker than they've looked in the past. As I cast a 3rd level dissonant whispers, so it has to make a wisdom save.
That is only there's only a 12. It's 11 plus 1.
Yeah.
So I believe it takes psychic damage.
5d6. Yeah, 5d6 damage. 21, and it uses its reaction to use its movement speed to get as far away from me as possible.
Yes, indeed. Let's see, how much movement speed does it have? Okie dokie. Yeah, it is going to use its reaction to move 40 feet away from where you're at, which is slightly diagonal. So it begins moving 40 feet away from Jasper and Jove. You guys may use your reactions for an opportunity of attack.
I would love to.
I would too, but I unfortunately used mine already for absorb elements.
That you did.
It's only a 14 to hit.
A 14? Ooh, just barely misses.
Ugh.
As it moves its 40 feet away from you all. And it takes how much psychic damage, Freddy? 21?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. 40. A 21? Oh dear. Freddy, how do you want to do this?
Oh, I was considering doing sleep, but I was like, there's no way its health is low enough yet. Yeah, I'm just just like really concerned, just like don't know what to do, and I'm just like strumming it, and it's just like when you just kind of like lose control of what you're doing and you just like do too much. It's like the filling the mop bucket up in Magician's Apprentice in the Fantasia movie. It just overfills, and then all
Oh.
the mops start cleaning everything up, and it floods everywhere. He just keeps strumming his harp and just doesn't stop, and just like these flowing, jagged purple lines just like stream at it and just berate it and just don't stop. And then Freddy's like, "Oh shit!" and he stops. And by this point, this thing's already just like crying for its mom.
And it's like listening to somebody playing gent for the first time, where you're like, these chords can't possibly go together, but they do. As I'll say, Jasper and Jove, you almost have to cover your ears from just the discordance that Freddy is creating right now. And you see the Yeti runs, and it starts as a sprint and gets slower and slower and slower and slower. And as it hits the last of its 40 feet, just there's almost kind of a squelching squeal that comes from it. And it falls face forward and stops moving. We're out of initiative, but we would be. However, Freddy, I believe you've got some movement left, and that was just your action.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start moving over towards Rory.
Yep, absolutely. You have plenty of movement speed to get there. Anything with your bonus action?
I cannot apply a healing potion to him as a bonus action. So
Unfortunately not. Gotcha. It is then Jasper. You watch as this abominable yeti runs past you all after you feel like the cold and the bits of ice around you, and you have to kind of like break parts of your joints out of it to get some movements. Would you see Freddy run over to Rornak?
She'll trust him to take care of Rory. She'll just she'll second wind and heal a bit. Cause
Roll that d10.
wow, 6.
Take a breather.
Yeah. Jove's doing alright, right?
Yeah, he's looking pretty cool.
Okay. And that'll be it for her, I think.
Speaking of which, Jove.
Yeah, he'll kind of eye and see that the Yeti has run its course and gone into its death rattle. And he'll kind of quickly glance back and see that Freddy is making his way to Rornak's side. That Jasper's still on her feet, so he'll kind of use this moment to, as best as he can, considering the conditions, get a good look and see if he sees any more piercing blue eyes or anything else that might have been attracted by that sound of it dying.
Make me a perception check.
That's gonna be my passive of 17.
Passive 17. Right now, the coast looks clear.
Beautiful. Then, if the coast is looking clear, he'll kind of collapse ranks back towards where Rornak and Freddy are, and just in case there is something out in the snow, that there's at least a spear point pointed towards it while aid is being rendered.
Rornak, make me a death saving throw.
That is a pass of 18.
Pass, gotcha. Then there's Freddy.
Cure wounds. Ooh, 10.
10. Ronak, you are healed for 10. The minting greens go, and Ronak, you come back to consciousness. We're out of initiative. And the first thing that your eye sees as you come back to consciousness as you look down is a completely frozen Johnny attached to your chest.
Ronak grabs at the Johnny and sees if it budges at all, or if it's just frozen solid to him.
Make me an athletics check.
That's a 22 on athletics.
You go to see if Johnny will come off, and he pulls off with his. He breaks off at the the joints in his hands and feet, and so you've got 4 little Johnny, both paws, both back paws still stuck to you, but you have the bulk of Johnny in hand.
Thanks for trying, friend, he says as he just kind of puts the Johnny down in the snow. Ah, goodness. I don't even remember what happened on that last one. Thank you, though, for the help on that. And he'll pick himself back up and make his way over to the Yeti.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a 15-foot tall monstrosity that is currently face down in the snow. Huge body, massive muscles, and the whole thing radiates cold. You can feel the temperature dropping as you get closer and closer to it.
Would Jove know any, like, I don't know, like, folk tale or charm or something? Like, oh, a rabbit's foot, or like a yeti ear or something like that, that would induce him to take a trophy off of this thing?
Go ahead and roll me survival.
That's 11.
11. You know that in your stories that the most valuable thing on the Yeti is its eyes. That could be useful for like spellcasting or chemical purposes or such things as that. But a Yeti of this size and this power, yeah, if you had a whole team, you could harvest quite a bit from it.
Jeff. Well, he's fucking cold at this point, so he doesn't want to be spending more time dealing with the guts of stuff, so I guess he's gonna start thinking about the journey ahead.
Absolutely. Interesting.
Yeah, as rough as I feel right now, I don't really want to risk waiting around these bears any longer. We should take off and hopefully get to the monastery by nightfall.
I think you're right about that, Rornak. Maybe here in a couple hours, once we've put some space between us and these carcasses, we can sit down, have ourselves a little rest before we trek the rest of the day. But I'm with you. I'm sure something as easy as finding a whole family worth of giant ass bears and their fresh meat is going to be attractive to more than just big ass yetis.
Agreed.
Well then, everyone grab what you need, and I say we take off.
You guys gather the rest of your camp, grab the tarps, the rest of your gear, your backpacks, all that kind of good stuff. Eat a quick ration if you've got it, and begin to head back onto the glacier as the morning light begins to illuminate more and more of the glacier. What little bits you can see out past the flurry of storm, you can see long, jagged bits of ice that kind of stick out at odd angles as you're heading further and further south. If we want to take a look at the map right now, You guys were able to make, I believe, 4 hexes down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If we look at where the Monastery of the Yellow Rose is, its hex, you will see that it is exactly 4 hexes away. One, 2, 3, 4. So, Jove, I believe you are manning the lead of the expedition still. Would you throw me a survival check to begin heading closer and closer to the Monastery of the Yellow Rose?
Certainly. And before he does that, he's gonna look at Freddy and say, "Sorry if this seems a little gauche, considering you know, Fred that our little Johnny friend just got himself blasted back to another plane, but he's pretty useful at this whole tracking thing. Do you mind calling him back up? And you know, once we're in this last little leg of the journey, I do want to make sure that we get there safe and sound, and I think a little bit of an animal companion might be helpful for that."
Are you asking for scouting ability, or are you just asking for help in finding the right way? Basically, me asking, do you want me to send eyes ahead, or do you want me to just give you bardic inspiration?
The latter.
Okay, yeah, you can have that.
I appreciate that. You will go ahead. All this survival check.
You summon a spectral Johnny, goes over to Jove, looks over, sees the completely frozen Johnny, looks at you, Freddy, and gives you like a hands up, like, hey! Looks back at the frozen Johnny, back to you.
What?
Well, he helped, but I still rolled ass, so that's only a 9.
9.
You
Absolutely.
didn't forget you were a halfling, did you?
No, I didn't, but
Okay.
I'll never forget.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty low. Don't you get to roll Johnny twice on a skill check like this?
Yes.
I do. And he gave me I rolled a 3. Wait, no. Yeah, no, I rolled a 3, and I rolled a... Did I say... I meant 8. I didn't... not a 9, I got an 8. So, even worse.
And that is with double roll on Johnny's.
That is, yes.
Okay, I was trying to figure out the math on that one. I'm like, not to argue with your math, but that seems kind of low, even with the minimal +1. But
well, actually, I have no add to survival at all.
You're a ranger without survival? Wow.
Hey, man, I told you. I made a couple of mistakes.
He came to live in Mulemaster, not out in the wilderness.
That's
Right.
true. Okay, a 9. You continue heading south on your journey. You can see that most of the time the visibility is bad. The snow swirls around you and the harsh biting wind, while gray clouds, and if you were of a different faith, would say is blocking Lathander's gaze, but simply the sunlight. On occasion, you can see that the storm lifts just enough for you to spot this mountain rising out of the glacier, helping you navigate closer and closer towards your goal. You continue on farther and farther down, having to cross, avoid crevices that you all, with a very learned hesitation, avoid. Choosing not to just try to jump over across, but skirt around the outside, Jove. It takes some extra time with a 9. But you get closer and closer. The sun begins to set as your day of traveling draws closer and closer. Can I have everybody make me a Constitution saving throw against exhaustion? I believe you all still have your advantage from the river water.
Do. I will use it.
Nice. I also used my...
Got an 8.
An 8, that's 1 level of exhaustion.
19.
That is success.
22, and I did use my river water.
Success.
11 and did use the water.
Failure. So that's
Darn.
2 fails and 2 successes. As the cold continues to bite away at the party. You continue further and further south, the mountain getting closer and closer. You know, it's probably only another 10 miles away. But you see that the sun is beginning to set once again. You can feel the temperatures starting to drop. As Jove, you figure you've probably got another 2 hours of light left. If you push, you could be within striking distance of the Monastery of the Yellow Rose, or you could spend this time trying to find another place to rest for the evening.
Jove will turn back to the party and say, well, folks, we got 2 options. We either spend another night out here and we try and use the remainder of daylight to make sure that we do that safely, or we trek on hard and we make ourselves, well, we just will ourselves to that monastery and whatever's going to be in it. So if we do that, we're going to be coming in a little raw, a little tired, but I figure that's going to be probably happening either way. So I know y'all are looking a little ragged, so you tell me, you want another night out on the glacier, or do we push through and try and make it to the monastery?
I'm in favor of no more glacier nights. Make our way to the monastery.
I agree.
Freddy, by the sound of your chattering teeth, I'm guessing you're looking forward to being inside and outside the elements. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys continue to push down south, ignoring the cold, pushing further and further south, trying to get to the base of this mountain before darkness arrives. Could I have everybody make me another Constitution saving throw as you push through your tiredness and try to make it to the Monastery of the Yellow Rose?
16.
Success.
13.
Just
14.
makes it. Just one over. And Freddie, what did you say? I'm sorry. 9?
Yeah.
That is a failure. Another level of exhaustion. As you guys are pushing through, and the light begins to fade, who's at the back of this?
Me, especially now that my speed is halved.
You find that it gets harder and harder for you to keep up with your party. Your speed, the cold, weighs you down. And you feel yourself stumble for a moment. And the hand reaches out to you to help you lift you back up. Do you take the hand, Freddy?
Yes.
Excellent. You take the hand and picks you up, brushes some of the snow off of you, and begins to help you move forward. The rest of you. I'll say, Jove, it's you with your passive perception that notices first. You're missing a party member.
Jove will put up his hand to kind of like halt the train and look around and say, Freddy stopped to take a piss or something? Where's he at?
I didn't see anything like that.
Jasper looks around, panicked.
Everybody go ahead and roll me perception checks.
14.
18.
15.
Jove, you look around. The rest of you, the snow and the storm, whip around you. Jasper, you feel that anxiety, that panic start to rise in your chest as you begin looking out into the snow for your brother and see him nowhere to be found. Jove, you kind of run towards the back and begin searching. Rornak, you find the same thing as Jasper, just the howling wind and the cold be starting to blizzard out around you. As you've gotten closer, the storm just feels like it's more and more intense. Jove, you see a kind of huddled pair slowly making their way away from you. And you see the two of them begin to head down. Just for the briefest of moments, one of the figures looks back towards you.
Is he within 120 feet of me?
120 feet? Farther than that.
Oh, sorry. It was 90 feet anyways, so never mind.
As you see probably the better part of a... And this one, the visibility, but it's not the figures themselves. Although, while most of this expands, what catches your eyes this far away is a dull blue and yellow glow. Freddy. The hand helps you up, and in a voice that sounds just like Rornak's. It's okay, friends. I've got you. Let's get out of this. Don't worry. And kind of puts a hand or gets your arm around their shoulders and gets you up and begins to help you move through. You can feel their body feels warm. It's nice that Rornak is helping you further and further along. Go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw.
Hold on. Okay. Wisdom save. How about a 0?
A 0.
Yeah.
You grasp on to Rornak. Just the heat of his body, kind of the muscles that you feel underneath. A welcome change from the cold as it continues to help you. You see there appears to be... It's almost like a cavern that the snow almost seems to melt away from it. Opening this up, you can feel a rush of warm air greet your face. You breathe in and it no longer hurts. For the first time in days, you can breathe in and your lungs don't feel that cold. And you feel that tightness in your shoulders that's been there for days lessen as you begin following this individual and you begin to go on a downward slope. The heat begins to rise and it feels pleasant, warm, as Rornak begins to help you further and further down. Jove, you see those blue and yellow eyes for just a moment before a gust of wind goes across and they are lost to you once more. As Freddy is heading down into here, party, Jove, you see this scene and lose them once more into the storm. What do the three of you do?
Jove is going to use thaumaturgy, kind of not even all that consciously seeing him getting whisked away by this character, and just yell out his name, booming his voice, Jove's voice, as he yells out Freddy.
Go ahead and roll me that same spell check I had you roll earlier.
That's going to be a 3.
You feel that same resistance. You dive and you try to pull that inner primal power. But you don't feel that adrenaline in your veins. You don't feel that deadly need that you do in battle. And it just comes out as just a regular yell. Freddy! Jasper and Rornak, you hear Jove yell out, a little bit more audible than he usually is, but as the storm continues to rage.
Yeah, I mean, Jasper will head in that direction.
You begin to... In which direction, I should say?
Wherever Jove is looking.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a survival check.
Okay. Oh. That's gonna be a 18.
In 18. Yes, you begin heading towards that way, pushing yourself into the storm in the same direction Jove is shouting. That panic of no longer seeing your brother driving you forward, pushing against the wind. You move further and further. I'll ask Jove and Rornak. As Jasper pushes in, you can see she is about to get to kind of the end with her increased movement speed. Jasper, did you roll... You only have one level of exhaustion, correct? Or 0?
Correct. 1.
1, absolutely. Did you roll that survival check with disadvantage?
Wait, not.
Mm.
Oh boy. No, it's just an 11.
An 11. You continue to push forward in that direction. Jove and Rornak, you see Jasper pushing through. Farther and farther away, her form gets harder and harder to see. What would you two like to do?
Rornak would head after her, but first he would stop by Jove, and he would actually pull out the rope he has, and he would hand one of the ends to him and just say, try and hold on to it. I've got a bad feeling about all this. If you feel anything on your end, start tugging immediately. And he'll start taking off after Jasper.
And like as he is going, he'll say, "Rornak, it's Naval. I saw the yellow and blue eyes. He's got him." And Jove will try and keep pace as best as he can as Rornak is just going forward, fully aware his tiny legs cannot take him nearly as fast.
Absolutely. You push forward, trying to catch up to Jasper. The three of you push deeper and deeper to the storm. Can I have you guys make strength saving checks? Rornak and Jove with advantage.
With advantage?
Mm-hmm.
Would I have disadvantage since I have exhausted?
You would just roll normal then.
Okay.
Exhaustion is just for ability checks, not for saving throws.
Ooh, that is correct. This is a saving throw, so you would just roll normal or with advantage.
Oh, cool.
At least first level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. That saved me for sure. That took it from a 6 to a dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Indeed.
I got 13.
13.
14.
14. That's enough. Jove and Rornak, you're able to... Jove, you feel yourself beginning to be pushed to the side by the strength of these winds, but with the rope and Rornak, with his dirty 20, you're able to push forward. Jasper, you feel the wind pushing against you as if it's trying to stop you from moving forward, but you will not be stopped. And it's only a moment later as you almost get driven down to one knee by this wind pushing against you that you feel a hand reach you. And looking up, you can see it is Rornak. Rope in one hand, Jove slightly behind, holding onto the rope with both hands as you are reunited.
Yeah, she'll take his hand and the rope.
Yeah, Rornak will help her back up and he'll let her like kind of take the end of the rope at like at the far end, basically, from where Jove is, and he'll kind of start to move a little bit back, kind of towards the middle, so everyone like has a hand on it at some part.
The three of you begin pushing forward once again. Everybody make me that strength saving throw. And now that you're all together, with advantage, adjust as you will.
Yeah, 25.
25.
15.
15.
24.
24. Yeah. Now with the rope in hands, the three of you push together as a unit against this wind. It blowing harder and harder towards you as you head towards the last part you saw Freddy beginning to descend. You push, and finally you see kind of the mouth of this cavern. It feels like someone is exhaling hot, warm air. It's the warmest place you've been in days. Jasper, you feel kind of the sensation of like your fingertips once again as this heat kind of washes over you, and you can't help but want to just get inside there and rest for a minute. This kind of warm, endearing place. And as the party reaches the outside, we'll flip back to Freddy. Freddy, you head down into this cavern, the heat getting warmer and warmer. You can see almost the sides of this ice-like cavern are starting to like sweat, slowly starting to melt as you are guided deeper and deeper until you come into a large caverned area. You can see that there are a number of eggs, large, almost human-sized eggs, strewn about in different nests that have a number of rocks and ice and bits of what appear to be fur or wood. This kind of mismatching of nests. And in the very center you see like a single carved chair. It rests in the center. And you feel that individual, Rornak, help you to it, sit you down, and helps you take off your backpack and put down your loot, and you look up into the face. And you see this long, angular features. The skin, a deep icy blue. Long, almost elven-like features, wrapped up in bits of ice and snow. Long, claw-like fingertips. This huge, stretched mouth that goes almost from one side to the other. Cold, sharp teeth curl into a large smile, like icicles in perfect alignment. And blue and yellow eyes staring into yours. Isn't it nice to get out of the cold? And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh boy.
Yup.
So, we will see everybody next Sunday for another session as our time in the Glacier of the White Worm may be coming to a close. Maybe. Let's say goodnight to chat.
Good night, chat.
Nighty night.
Good night, chat. Thank you so much for being here with us for another one, DJ Khaled style. Peace in the Middle East. We'll see you next Sunday. Much love.